continue on with our series of the Ales of the Revolution by Yards Brewing Company. Paul?
City Tavern and Yards Brewing got together and they found old recipes from our founding fathers of America, of their homebrew recipes.
National Treasure 3.
And they, yes, this should be. And they gave us...
Nick Cage can't be doing anything.
They updated them slightly to make them a little more 21st century. Maybe bring them...
Pasteurized, I believe.
Pasteurized, maybe change some... They had to change very, but they tried to keep it very true. And we had gotten these three lovely beverages. Today we're doing Poor Richard's Tavern Spruce. Poor Richard being...
Benjamin Franklin
himself, the man who did say, I believe it was, beer is living proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy. He's a smart man.
Sure.
He's a good forefather.
He's the original beer friend.
He is the original beer friend.
Also kind of a horn dog.
Yeah, like we said, original beer friend. And this beer is awesome.
It's so good.
I can have my glass. So this is an ale. I'm going to read from the side here. Poor Richard's Tavern Spruce is based on Ben Franklin's original recipe. Enjoyed taste of history, courtesy of Yards Brewing Company. Malt beverage brewed with natural flavor, molasses, spruce tips, and sprigs. So I don't know what a sprig is.
A sprig is a very, very small branch. So
Thank goodness you're here.
At the very end of the branch, like before you get to the spruce tip, it's the little part that goes.
So it's
it's
kashi beer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, I like that.
Right? Yeah.
I love this beer.
I agree.
It is so interesting to call it beer. And it's so interesting to, it's such a different flavor profile from any other beer that I've had. It's not an IPA, it's not a porter, it's not a stout, that's obvious. But then when you take it, it's like, it's a little bit, my first experience was like, whoa. Oh.
Yeah, like,
and then on the second taste, it was like, I know what I'm expecting, and I really dug it. And it's so interesting. And so, I first had it at your place, and then instantly, when I went down to the Yards Brewing Company, I was like, I'll have a Tavern Spruce on draft, please. And then I purchased individual bottles to make a 6-pack to bring home. Because it's such an interesting taste, and it's not an offensive taste at all. Like, I literally could do a 6-pack of this, because it's an interesting taste, but it's not like, hey, and this isn't fair to Dogfish Head, but it's like not one of those like interesting tastes that's kind of like, whoa, and then I'm going to back off for a little while. It's an interesting taste that I want to go back to and back to and back to, because it's so intriguing.
It's like a menthol cigarette. It's the spruce. Okay. It's you taste it, you taste the beer, and then all you got is spruce. All you got is spruce afterwards. It's great flavor.
Well, it reminds me, you know what, actually, like this might be one of my favorite holiday beers. Because it tastes, it tastes like a milder celebration. Yeah. Because, I mean, spruce and pine are very close, you know, as far as the trees themselves, but also with the flavors that, you know, whatever. And molasses is very kind of like
He's been living.
Well, you know, I did take biology in high school.
Tree biology?
Yeah, I did grow up in Oregon. There were a lot of trees. Spruces in. Anyway, so, but do it with with the pine taste, that's usually kind of the holiday thing. Celebration is Sierra Nevada's like major pine flavored push for Christmas.
Yeah, well, along with everything Sierra Nevada.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying the celebration is like, oh my God, I'm sucking on a pine tree. And then, but the molasses is another part that really, no, I'm just joking.
Never said that.
But the molasses is another kind of, I also like molasses cookies and molasses and a lot of holiday stuff, so putting those together, it really does reminds me of a holiday beer, but this isn't a beer where I go, oh, well, this is like 6 months out of, you know, like I should be drinking this in November, like this is, it alludes to that, but it's so delicious that I can't help but drink it right now.
I will want some of this in November.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can drink it from now until November.
Yeah, I can drink it all the time.
And then interesting that you know, along those lines to where you look at the Jefferson brew and the George Washington brew, and they're very kind of traditional, English. You know, we talked about the ESB for the Jefferson one, and it's a very distinct porter for the George Washington one. But then the Ben Franklin one, you know, him being the kind of crazy guy and the super genius inventor dude, is the one that departs from that the most and goes in an experimental direction and goes in a direction that we're not used to compared to the styles that were prevalent at the time.
So, reviewing Poor Richard's Tavern Spruce, I give it a 9.5.
Yeah, this gets a 9.5 from me.
All right, I'll give it a
9.5 to go along with Poor Richard. Oh.
The beer's a little better than he was.
Well, I don't think he would have tasted this good.
That's what she said.
No, she never. What do you want to call the beer?
9.5.
Okay, 9.5's all around.
I love it. Drink it.
Thank you to Benjamin Franklin. Thank you to Yards. Thank you to City Tavern.